Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tonight, we'd like to spend some time talking about an issue that I think has bipartisan support and what the American people will want to pay a little bit of attention to. I am going to talk a little bit about the medical device industry. And, Mr. Speaker, I'm a passionate advocate for this industry. Coming from a state of Minnesota where we've got some giant titans, many folks out in this country may understand the names of Medtronic, Boston Scientific, St. Jude, but I will tell you there are also hundreds and hundreds, 400 medical device companies in Minnesota that are small, companies you have never ever heard of, but many of which I have had the opportunity to tour and visit. They're all about entrepreneurship, they're about innovation, they're about improving lives, and they're about saving lives. Tonight, though, we have a handful of members that really want to devote some time talking about a challenge that has arisen up against this industry, and that's the new medical device tax. It was part of the health care law. It just started being implemented in January, and this is a tax, might not sound like a lot, 2.3% excise tax, but you know what, Mr. Speaker? This is a tax not on profit, it is a tax on their revenue. And we'll get into a little bit more details about why that is so dangerous to this industry and why it has become so much more challenging in just a little bit. I will say this, though, is that of the 400 companies that are in Minnesota, about 200 of them alone are in my district, in the 3rd District in Minnesota. So it's easy for me to be a passionate advocate. Many people think of Minnesota as just being the land of 10,000 lakes, but it's more than that. And there's no doubt that the innovative spirit that is alive in Minnesota is actually alive across the country in many states. And you're going to hear from some members that represent some of those states that are being impacted very negatively from this new tax. It's a $30 billion tax that is being collected. That's a significant amount of money. And what does that mean? It essentially means less research and development. It means less innovation. And in the end, that means less opportunity for American patients to access new breakthrough technologies, and many of us, and I will argue, would also say that that means it is also going to result in less access to health care and in lowering health care costs, because technology has the great ability to lower health care costs. And there are many statistics that show that actually in the 20-year period, the last 20 years, the medical device and technology industry has been responsible for a 4% increase in U.S. life expectancy, a 16% decrease in mortality rates, and a 25% decline in elderly disability rates. Medical devices have helped to slash the death rate from heart disease by a stunning 50% and cut the death rate from stroke by 30%. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of issues where Republicans and Democrats don't necessarily see eye to eye, but I think we can all agree on this. The single worst thing we can do in America is crush our inventive spirit, and that is exactly what this new medical device tax does and is doing. We've got some bipartisan support. I first want to thank Congressman Ron Kine, my colleague from Wisconsin, for being a lead author and helping build up to 260 co-authors to repeal this dangerous tax. And I'm going to yield right now to my colleague from Utah, who also is going to share some thoughts and a perspective on this tax. He has been a great leader tonight in gathering up some folks to come and testify and talk on the floor. I want to thank him and his staff for encouraging his colleagues to come out and speak tonight, and he's been a strong leader and a great partner in this repeal effort. And I'd like to yield to my friend and colleague, Mr. Matheson.
Well, I appreciate my colleague, Mr. Paulsen, for organizing this. And, I think at the outset what should be noted most is after the House finishes its regular business of the day, we hold these opportunities for people to take 60 minutes to have an opportunity to talk about a particular issue. And generally these 60 minutes are divided up where one party has an hour and then the other party has an hour. And I just think it's really important to note that here we are talking about an issue and it's people from both parties getting together. Everywhere I go, I hear about people wanting folks in Congress to learn to work together. And here we have an issue where we got, as Mr. Paulsen said, 260 co-sponsors. A majority of the House of Representatives is already on the legislation to repeal the medical device tax. So I applaud his leadership in working in a constructive way and building a coalition around this issue. And I'm going to take some time a little bit later to continue to talk about this issue